And one of the things that we talk about quite a bit around here is that you can only lead somebody in a direction that you yourself are going. So if you want to be someone who is discipling other people, you yourself have to be discipled. There's not one of us in this room that does not have some area in our life, some area in our faith that needs to grow. So here's the first thing that I'm going to encourage you to receive. I'm going to encourage you to receive mentoring or discipleship from somebody regarding your faith. And here's all that you do to do that. You identify some area in your faith that needs growth. Maybe it's your prayer life, or maybe it's your study of Scripture. Maybe it's the way that you interact with people at your work environment. Identify some area in your life, in your faith, that needs growth, and then identify someone who seems particularly good at that. You're struggling with what it means to be a husband or a wife and to love your husband or your wife as Christ loves them. Well, find somebody that seems to be doing that well and ask them if you can take them to coffee and pick their brain one time. A lot of us are waiting for like one mentor to come into our lives and to teach us everything, but that often doesn't happen for us. But what we can do is identify one area we need to grow in, identify someone who is good at that area, and ask them to spend 30 minutes with us. So the first thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is to receive that kind of mentoring. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not something that I've been intentional about in my life recently. I had a mentor for years who helped me out a lot, but it's something that for the last few years I have not been intentional about. Writing this message, I became convicted, and this week I'm committing to reaching out to a friend of mine. He's about my age. It's going to be a little bit, I just stuck up my pride a little bit to ask him to mentor me, but he is fervent in his prayer life, and I'm going to ask him to mentor, to disciple me in prayer. So for you, what do you need to receive some mentoring in, and who are you going to ask? And the second, of course, is to give. Who is it that's a step behind you in some area of the faith that you can help grow? I preached this sermon 2 weeks ago in the chapel, that service that I lead. And afterwards, I was out back visiting with some people. And my favorite member in the chapel walked up. You know, we're not supposed to have favorites, but we do, right? She walked up, and it's Miss Charlotte Gump. She's 96 years old. And she walked up, and she said, "Matt, I just want you to know that I'm trying to disciple this woman in my community." She said, "I gave her one of my extra Bibles the other day." She's 96. She's going to walk through that door, and she is going to hear one day, "Well done, good and faithful servant." She's already got her ticket, and she is still doing this. I heard another pastor one time, he's got 6 kids. He says that when his kids turn 10, they require their kids to do 2 things. They require their kids, starting at 10 years old, to have a mentor and to be a mentor. And he said, you know what kind of 10-year-old kid thinks that they can be a mentor? A 10-year-old kid that you sit down and you say to them, "You can be a mentor." That's the kind of kid that thinks that they can be a mentor. So if you are between 10 and 96, you're on this hook, right? Be a mentor. Find someone to step behind you. If you can't find them, look, I can show you right after the service where our youth department is and where our children's ministry is. And we can get you plugged in starting this school year with some kids that you can help to mentor. Receive some mentoring in one area of your life that you need to grow in, and be a mentor to someone who's just a step behind you, that you can walk through life with them and help them to understand how they can continue to grow.